Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so glad to welcome you as part of our community tonight. Please note that this webinar is being recorded and distributed live stream. By entering this virtual meeting room, you give your consent to be recorded and distributed by Simeon Morrow Public Speaking Presentations, Vienna Live with Simeon Morrow, and other third parties. If you prefer to not be recorded, please turn off your camera and or microphone and or go to the Facebook Live video feed, the link to which I've now placed in the chat room. For a better experience, please turn off your microphone and set your video to gallery view. This show thrives on participant contributions, and all participants are encouraged to actively participate in this webinar by asking questions and making comments. To do so, please either write in the chat room, raise your hand, or turn on your microphone and say hi, and I'll be delighted to include your perspective in the conversation. Tonight, our featured guest is Anna Maria Mendieta, an award-winning harpist and creator of Tango Del Cielo, which is the subject of tonight's conversation. Welcome, Anna Maria.
Thank you so much, Simeon. It's great to be here. And thank you for having me.
Anna Maria, can you turn your camera on?
Sure. Here we go. Hi, everyone. Good to see you. And thank you, Simeon. Thank you for having me. Would you like to hear some music to open?
I'd love that.
Let's
Since
do
you've got
that.
your harp there.
Let's do that. I've got my harp here. This is my, I jokingly call this, but there's some truth to it. This is my significant other, 6 feet 4 inches with strings attached. Here we go. This is from the album. It's called Tientos, which is a kind of a play on words, meaning temptations. And it's by Raul Lapada. It was originally composed for a harp that had 2 sets of strings that crisscrossed in the middle. It was known as a chromatic harp. Now the harp didn't quite survive, but the music did, and we're so grateful for that. So this is Tientos. I hope you enjoy it.
Wow, lovely. Applause all around.
Thank
So,
you.
Anna Maria, tell us about how you became. You said the harp is your significant other. How did that come
Right.
to be?
Well, I was actually about 5 years old when I knew I wanted to play the harp. Both of my parents were musicians, so we were raised listening to classical music in the house. and they were playing a recording of Tchaikovsky's Romeo and Juliet. And they told me the story. And as you know, I'm sure all of you have probably heard Romeo and Juliet. It's so descriptive in the music. Everything that happens in the story happens in the music. And as a 5-year-old, my imagination would just go. And then as the music would rise, the music would, the orchestra would build and build. And then all of a sudden, there was a sacred hush and a beautiful harp solo. And as a 5-year-old, I was just mesmerized with that. So I would put my ear to the speaker and have them play the recording over and over and over again, just so that I could hear that harp. And that's when I knew, and I remember that day so well, that's when I knew I wanted to play the harp. But it just took 2 years of begging my parents and convincing them that I was really serious. So I didn't start until I was 7. But I, again, just knew as soon as I started, this is what I wanted to do. And I'm so grateful that I'm doing what I love most of all.
Fantastic. And so I want to show also there's some videos we have of you performing concerti. So I want to share that with everyone else. Let's have a look at that quickly. Here we are. Okay, so that's really, really, really lovely. So tell us, Anna Maria, about what does a harpist, what do you need to do to be a harpist? What does a harpist need to be good at? You've got all the strings there, right? So I mean, how is it that you train to become a great harpist? How did you do it, and what are the skills you need?
Well, thank you so much. I started at the Conservatory of Music in San Francisco and focused on just music, focused on the harp, and even through college had majored in music and so forth. But I followed my teacher and the background of her teacher. My first teacher had, or one of my first teachers had studied with Carlos Salcedo, who was a very prominent harpist of the 20th century. So then I went on to study with other students of his that really carried the torch and continued. So I continued studying with Alice Shalafu and then Doug Ryeth with San Francisco Symphony, and just knew that you have to, as any musician would, have to just focus, totally focus your mind, your energy, and time on the music. And so no matter what it takes, and athletes, anybody who has a passion, whatever it takes, you're just driven to follow your passion.
Okay, and a curiosity. So I mean, string players, they play scales, they play all different kinds of exercises. sounds like the harp, everything you play just sounds wonderful. It's just a pleasure. I
Thank
mean,
you.
are there exercises for the harp, or is it all just nice?
Well, no, there are exercises for the harp for sure. Something that's very interesting that people don't realize is that we don't use our fifth fingers. We only use four fingers of each hand, just because the fifth finger is the weakest finger of the hand, and just the way our hand position needs to be, it's not very practical. And so we do have to do specific exercises to strengthen up all of the fingers to do different kinds of intervals, of course, scales, arpeggios, all of that. But we also have to do exercises to change keys, because we have pedals behind the harp, which allows us to change keys. Let me see, I don't think you can see them from where you are, but if you would like, I can try to maneuver the camera. Should I try?
Sure.
Okay, here we go. Let's try. I'm gonna just maneuver the camera to the bottom of the harp, and you may be able to see there are pedals behind the harp. And so there are 7 pedals for the 7 notes in the scale, 3 on one side, 4 on the other. And so whatever key I'm playing in, then I set the pedals in a certain pattern. I'm set in that key, ready to begin the piece. But the catch is this: if there are key changes, accidentals, sharps and flats during the piece, I have to move those pedals while I play, and I only have 2 feet. So I've got to be really, really fast and very strategic of when I'm moving those pedals. So that's probably one of the biggest challenges of the harp.
And fantastic. And what would you say the most rewarding part of the harp is then?
You know what? I would have to say this: we have the closest contact to our instruments. We get to embrace our instrument. And if you think about it, it's just our flesh against the strings. There's no bow, no pick, no keys and hammers between us and the actual sound. It's just our flesh against the strings. So that means whatever your emotions are, whatever you're thinking comes through in the music. And that's what's so incredible. You can feel the vibrations of the harp, you can feel the vibrations of the music all through. And as you play, it's, to me, it takes me to a different world altogether. Time stops. It's really amazing.
Fantastic. That's just lovely. So let's have a listen to your new album, Tango del Cielo. This is Asturias. Fantastic. Wow. Really makes me want to play the harp. So Anna Maria, so tell us about this. You're going from, as you said, from your musician family to playing the harp, listening to Romeo and Juliet, then to somehow getting into this Asturias and this incredible tango thing.
Well, thank you so much. My family is very much we have a background in dance and flamenco, particularly flamenco. My grandfathers came from Spain, my grandmothers came from Mexico and Guatemala, and lots of the family moved to South America. And so growing up, we were very much always in tune with Spanish music, Latin rhythms, Latin, all kinds of Latin music. And then, so I specialized in Spanish music for a very long time, but then I heard the music of Astor Piazzolla. Piazzolla is one of the most famous tango composers. When I heard his music, I was listening, actually I was performing with an orchestra, but the orchestra was playing something special for dancers, and this didn't include harp, but to hear Piazzolla's music was just fantastic, because what he does is he changes the character of the instruments. Instead of just melodic instruments, they're changing the character and becoming percussive instruments too, which was fascinating to me. So we're talking the late 90s, 1990s, early 2000s, and I started to look for any music I could find, and there wasn't anything for harp at that time. And so when I would when I would go to music stores asking for tango music, Piazzolla music for the harp, people would laugh at me. They would say, "You can't play tango music on the harp. It just can't be done. It's too chromatic, too this, too that." Well, when someone tells me that, I just become more determined, more focused and motivated to see it through. So I collected anything I could get my hands on, whether it was bandoneon music, guitar, flute, and I started creating my own arrangements. And one thing led to another, and I was actually premiering some of these arrangements at a national harp conference. And at the same time, I was introduced to one of Piazzolla's own musicians, Pablo Ziegler, who basically, when Piazzolla, let me back up a bit. Piazzolla, what made him so unique was that he stretched the envelope of tango music. He combined not only the traditional tango rhythms, but he combined it with modern classical music and jazz. And so all of these elements combined made his tango music so different. And at the time, when he was just really a young musician, he would play the bandoneon in the tango orchestras, and on the side he would compose. And he won competitions to study with Nadia Boulanger in France. And he kept it quiet. He kept it secret that he played tango music. And then one day when he let his guard down, he pulled out his bandoneon and he played for her. And she was so blown away by it that she said, "Astor, from now on, you are to incorporate tango in everything that you do." So he did that. But what happened was his own country didn't accept him back, really. They couldn't, they were very strict about how the tango should be played. And so, in fact, I even heard there was a contract out on his life. So that's how dramatic it was. But when they could see that the rest of the world embraced his music, they welcomed him back, to the point that he was so celebrated that he was paid by the government to compose new works and perform them in the square every week. So he became a very, very successful composer. Now, fast forward a bit, when Piazzolla died, Pablo Ziegler, who had been his pianist for 10 years, carried on the torch, and he also stretched the envelope of tango music. And at that time, he was told by people, "Oh, you can't do it, not without a bandoneon. You can't do it with just piano." And he had piano, guitar, and bass. Let's see, piano, yeah, guitar and bass. And he was determined. And he got to the point that he actually won the Grammy Award for the best tango album. And that was actually the time that I met him. So he was king of the mountain, top of the hill, for everything to do with tango, but this was something that was unique. So when I told him about what I was doing in my project, he was very he was very, very interested, and worked with me on how we could incorporate the music into the harp. And our very first arrangement was Introducción Galingel, which is on the album. And he created a beautiful cadenza, harp cadenza, to open the album. And when he finished it, he said to me, now go and do what no one else has done before. And that was our connection. That was the exciting moment. And I'm just so excited and so thrilled to just have continued with the music. And it's taken me to a beautiful, beautiful path, beautiful journey.
Fantastic. Let's listen to one more. This is Bordeaux,
Okay.
1900 from the album. Oh, wow, that is just fantastic. So tell us, let's
you.
back up a second and tell us where and what exactly tango is, Anna Maria. So you said you come
Okay,
from a
thank you.
Spanish and perhaps somehow a Latin American family, but not from Argentina. Tell us, what is this tango?
Okay, tango was actually a combination. The roots come from rhythms from Africa, and basically it started, the legend is that it started in the ports of Buenos Aires. And so when the ships came into the ports, they of course brought the traditions from other countries, and including the rhythms of Africa. And so as the music was adopted, it originally was for music like for guitar and flute, and then it gradually transitioned to the bandoneon, which was a fascinating instrument that that's basically with bellows and has buttons on both sides, but the buttons are not in a logical manner. In fact, they would add buttons as time would go, so nothing really is logical about it. So it's a very difficult instrument to play. Now, the tradition began, let's see, tango began in the late 1800s, early 1900s, and as the high society from Europe would take their vacations to South America, the young men basically would bring the tango dance to Europe. And so it became a dance of high society instead of it started with the brothels and the poor neighborhood in Buenos Aires. But then when it was introduced to this high society in Europe, it became a very fashionable dance. And oh, there we go, beautiful colors, lots of colors. That area is called La Boca, which means the mouth. It's a port there in Buenos Aires. The neighborhood that is famous for the origins of tango is called La Boca, El Caminito. the little street. And it's a very, very popular tourist place, and it's very colorful. Originally, the people of the neighborhood couldn't afford to paint their houses, so they would take the paint from the ships that would come in, no matter what color it was, and they would paint different walls, different colors, just because that's all they had. But it became such a beautiful, beautiful tradition. And so if you take a look at some of the artwork on the walls, sometimes it would be very beautiful, ornate paintings even. So as a tradition, the government the city has continued to keep the tradition of different colors, and that's what is very recognizable for that neighborhood. And then I should also just mention, as tango was popular in high society in Europe, it became popular in the United States through the silent films and through the silent films of Rudolph Valentino and many of his co-stars. And so that's how it was popularized in the United States.
So Anna Maria, wow. So tell us about this dance, exactly what the tango, it seems very passionate. It seems it's something that's full of passion between a man and a woman. Clearly, it's not about jumping up and down or it's the rhythm or it seems like a courtship. Is that what's happening there?
It's a beautiful dance, and what's fascinating is that it's only can work if the two people are leaning towards each other, and if anyone was too heavy or that would not work. You have to be totally respectful of the other person, but they're both leaning at an angle where if the other person weren't there, you would not be able to stand straight. But it's a matter of lead and follow. The leader communicates his steps, and the follower, of course, responds. Now, what's beautiful about the tango is that it is a dance that allows for a lot of creativity, and when they say it takes two to tango, it's very, very true. That's what's so beautiful about it, is that it's all about listening and responding. And as musicians, we're doing that as well. When we're playing the music, we're listening and responding, almost dancing with each other musically.
Fantastic. And so you have those tango dancers with whom you are part of your show. Have you talked to them? What's going through their mind? What is going when they talk about tango? What is it to them?
What is it to them? It's their life. Oh my goodness. It's a very respectful dance as well. And also there are several styles of tango. There is the salon style, which is what you would see in the milongas. Milongas are the dance parties that are strictly tango dance parties. Now, within the dance party, the milonga, there are several different types of dances. There's the salon tango, which would be what you see the dancers dance together, very very slow, usually very slow. The Milonga style, which is another dance style, is a fast, happy tango, so with fast steps and more of a bounce to it. Then there's the show tango, which has the basically all the aerials, the drops, the dramatic choreography that you see in the dance shows. So I'm very, very fortunate to have world champions join me for the shows that are fantastic. And so I'm if you see the videos on our YouTube, you'll see them dancing, and it's just fascinating to watch them dance. And sometimes it's all improvised, sometimes it's choreographed, but sometimes it's totally improvised, which is fascinating because it's all about that keen intuition with that other person, that beautiful connection and communication.
Fantastic. So we have a comment here, 2 comments from
Yes.
Amy Nam. She writes, how wonderful you were able to work directly with Pablo Ziegler. Could you tell us more about the working process of that collaboration? Was there
Thank
back
you.
and forth between you two as he adapted Piazzolla's music? And then Amy continues, as you prepared for recording the album, did you dance the tango? If so, did it inform how you play?
What a great question. My goodness. Okay, let's take the last question first. Yes, as I was studying tango music, I decided to take tango lessons. Now, fortunately, all of my family was already involved in dance, so it wasn't a big deal to learn a brand new dance. However, for me as a musician, I have to say it was such a freeing experience to be able to move the bottom half of my body, since I'm usually just stationary at the harp. But it made so much sense to understand the dance style first while I was studying the music, because it's all about being grounded with the instrument, grounded with the earth. The same thing with the dance, being grounded, being focused, being a good listener, and it just made the most sense to do that. And as time went on, we incorporated the dancing as a part of the show, because that's what the music's all about, for the dance. So thank you so much for asking. Now, as far as Pablo Ziegler, I should back up a bit. In the show, we do offer sometimes surprises where I have a wonderful mystery partner that enters the stage and invites me to dance. And so that's a fun surprise for the audience, and we love doing that. So that's a part of the show too. Now back to Pablo Ziegler. Oh my goodness, that was such an incredible experience. And yes, there was back and forth dialogue to develop the music. And he did take me under his wing to help figure out how it was going to work for the harp. One of the pieces, the Introducción Galangel, was never written, and actually I had heard him play it with an ensemble, and I just thought that would be so perfect for the harp. And as he explained to me, it was something that they performed together as a group with Piazzolla, and it was never written down, so he remembered it so perfectly to create it for his own instrument, and then it did work so well for the harp. The challenge was having to figure out the pedaling, and there were pieces that he composed for me. Actually, backing up a bit, one of his pieces, which was Milonga en el Viento, which means Dance of the Wind, he had composed it for himself and recorded it, and many other instrumentalists have recorded it since. And when I asked him if he could create an arrangement for the harp, he told me, he said, I don't think it could be played on the harp. It's just too chromatic. Even he told me that. And I said, don't worry, just write what you're envisioning and I'll figure out how to make it happen on the harp with the pedals. And it did take some time. There were actually 200 pedals after what was all said and done for that piece, 200 pedal changes. And it's a beautiful piece, and that's on the album too.
Oh, Anna Maria, so 200,
Yes.
to put it into context, is that a world record?
Oh, I don't know about that. You know what? I think the world record's got to be Wagner's Magic Fire music, because originally it was for something like 6 harps, and you can't fit 6 harps in the orchestra pit, so it was condensed to 2 and then condensed to 1, and there were something like 47 pedals and pedal changes in just 12 measures. I may be exaggerating, but it's close.
Okay. So Amy writes, wow, thank you. And Moira
Thank you.
wrote, the fluidity of the dancers is beautiful to watch. Such passion. Thank you so much for your comments,
Thank
everybody,
you.
and your questions.
Thank you.
So
I have a question, Simeon. Could we play a clip of the Milonga en el Viento?
with pleasure, I'll get it out right now. Here it is. This is Milonga en el Viento.
By Pablo Ziegler.
That's just lovely.
you.
Congratulations. And the
Thank
pedal
you.
work, we don't even notice. Wow, what an accomplishment.
Thank you.
So let's go on now and let's watch now. We're going to talk about the other part of the Tango del Cielo, which is the show, the concert. So it is a concert performance. Let's take a look at the first music video. Here it is. fantastic. Wow. Tell us, Anna Maria, about going to Buenos Aires and making this music video.
Thank you. As you might have recognized, that was the neighborhood that we spoke about earlier in the program, and that is the area, the port area called La Boca. The neighborhood is called El Caminito, and it's typically one of the busiest areas in Buenos Aires. So a lot of people ask me, well, how in the world did you get in there without anybody there? Well, my producer, video producer, Christian Ardito, was very clever to program, to basically arrange for us to get in there the day after January 1st, the day after New Year's. So after everybody was partied out from New Year's and New Year's Day, we went in there at about 4:30 in the morning and started to film, and there wasn't anyone there present. So it was the perfect time.
Wow. And tell us about the energy. Tell us about this. What did you learn about the tango when you were there? We see that the man is dressed in a tuxedo, the woman extremely elegant, very, very classy. I mean, from the upper echelons of society, the dance is so, there's nothing vulgar about it, even though it's so sensual. So tell us, what did you experience when you were there? What did you learn?
Well, what's beautiful about Buenos Aires is it's very artistic city, very colorful, obviously, but also full of many different neighborhoods. And everywhere you go, there's tango music, tango dancing everywhere you go. Even in the taxi cab, you'll hear tango music. And so it's very much a part of their life. And as a musician, it was so exciting for me to be just immersed in the music and in the dance. I went there also to study dance as well. And the music is played in such a way that, as a friend of mine would say, you can't play tango music as a classical musician. It's like our jazz. You can't just pull out the music and try to play it. You have to actually really understand the style. And it's the same thing with tango music. There's a certain stylistic elements of the music that you have to really just experience how the musicians play it there in Buenos Aires, in the country. And so that's what was fascinating, most fascinating to me.
Wow. Okay. Fantastic. So let's watch the other video. So this is another video you made, and this is Oblivion. Let's listen to it and watch. so incredibly moving. Tell us what that's about, Anna Maria, and tell us about the soldiers and what they're saluting and
Yes,
all of that. That's extraordinary.
thank you. That video takes place in the center of the city where the obelisk is, and the obelisk was created to basically honor the struggles that the Argentine people had gone through to win their independence. And so it's a very significant part of the city, a very significant monument. And in the mornings, that's when the soldiers come out to raise the flag. And that's why we have them as a part of the video as well, because that's very much a part of their history and their winning their independence. The piece is called Oblivion by Astor Piazzolla, and it was arranged by Jorge Calandrelli. There's a beautiful story that goes with this piece. Jorge Calandrelli was just a young budding composer when Piazzolla was alive, and he looked up to him as his mentor. And when Piazzolla composed Oblivion, it became a huge success. And he asked Jorge if he would create an orchestration for it, for a recording with the Royal Philharmonic in London. And so Jorge was thrilled and honored and created this beautiful orchestration. And they were in London recording it with the Royal Philharmonic. And in the middle of the recording session, he got a call that Piazzolla had died. And so at that time, they put everything on hold. And then Jorge created this beautiful interlude and inserted that within the music in the middle of the piece. They went back and they recorded it. And this piece was Piazzolla's first Grammy award, basically earned Piazzolla his very first Grammy, and also Jorge Calandrelli's first Grammy as well. And so when I had asked Jorge if he could create an arrangement for the harp, he was so excited because he said he had just the perfect idea, and that originally this piece was with the oboe playing the melody and with harp in the background. And this time, 25 years later, he then switched it so that the harp would be the voice, the main voice, and it was so exciting. We invited him to come up and conduct the orchestra at the recording session at Skywalker. And it was so beautiful because he would pick up his baton, everybody would be ready to play, and then he'd put it down again and he'd say, "I need to tell you a story." And he shared this beautiful story with us. It was fantastic. We felt like we were a part of history in the making. It was so exciting.
Wow. And tell us just briefly, Anna Maria, Oblivion, so it means oblivion. Why is that?
Right. That's a very good question. It was composed for a movie, and Henry IV, I believe. And you know what? I will have to get back to you on that. I think that would be a fascinating question to ask those who knew Piazzolla. Why did he name it this? That'd be great.
That's to be
determined. To be determined, right?
So last question, and then we'll get, Moira has an excellent question that we will address in 1 second. I just want to ask, what do you hope people take away from this Tango del Cielo, the album, and also the concert performance? What do you hope people get from this?
Thank you so much. Well, I would like to invite everyone to our website, the Tango del Cielo website, and also to my own website to sign up on the mailing list. And I would love to share with you performances that are upcoming performances and the creation of another album project, which will be so exciting. We are also in the works of other music videos as well. So I would love to invite you to just join us, sign the mailing list, and do let us know what area you're in so we can alert you to when we're performing in your area. Tango del Cielo, I call it a concert show because it's not your traditional concert, and it's not a dance show in the traditional form either. What agents and presenters say, they describe it as an experience. And so it's definitely stretching the envelope of the normal concert. So it incorporates tango, flamenco with musicians and dancers. We have multimedia for our backdrop and lots of surprises. And we do a tribute to the silent films because it was through the silent films that tango was first popularized in the United States with Rudolph Valentino and my great aunt, Nita Naldi, who was Rudolph Valentino's co-star for many movies. So we have fun bringing that to the stage as well.
Fantastic. Let's take a look quickly at what people can expect. Fantastic. So there it is. Let's take a look now at the websites I shared with you before. So here they are. Just share that here one more time if I can. So what we have here is tangodelcielo.com. And Anna Maria, this is the main website for everything, so people can find out about your concerts. Just going
That's
there to the
right.
concert, and there we have in the San Francisco Bay Area. Coming up in November. Excuse me, that was the past one in November, and then we have.
And I should mention on the album too, the beautiful violin playing that you heard in the different tracks was by Jeremy Cohen, who is a fantastic violinist, and he was the co-producer as well as a co-producer for the album, as well as Russell Bond, who was the engineer, one of the engineers, and. I should mention, Jeremy's violin is straight from MGM. It used to be the concertmaster's violin of the concertmaster's violin for MGM. So with the album, we definitely do a nod to old Hollywood.
Fantastic. And here is Anna Maria's website, annamariamendieta.com. And Anna Maria, people can reach out to you if they have any questions or
That's right.
or any questions or comments, or they want to know when your next music video is coming out?
Yes.
Perfect. So there it is, info@annamariamendieta.com. Anna Maria is there to listen to your comments, to answer your questions. So feel free to reach out to her. And we have one more question. This is a comment from Amy Nam. Thank you, Anna Maria, for your tremendous commitment to excellence, going to places no harpist has gone before, and elevating the harp in the eyes of the greater music community.
Wow, thank you, Amy. God bless you. Thank you so much.
And from my part too, thank you so much, Anna Maria Mendieta, for your for this fantastic presentation of what you do.
Thank you, Simeon. Thank you for having me. And thank you,
We have
everyone,
Moira
for being here.
We have Moira who writes, "It's great to see you again, Anna Maria. Congratulations on your album." So let's take a look at what's coming up next week on Vienna Live. We have Winslow Myers. Can paintings express reality? Call them realist or even hyper-realist. We don't consider paintings to be as quote unquote real as still photographs or motion pictures. Yet, even if a painting doesn't portray an object or a subject with the exactitude of a human eye's physical viewpoint, a painting may reveal meaning that would otherwise be lost. Winslow Myers' paintings are a case in point. He believes that, at its best, painting can go beyond realism. The splendor of the natural world, serene blue skies, cyan Caribbean waters, deep green vegetation, is juxtaposed with our modern human world. That human world is one of the abstract designs made of steel, concrete, and even mushroom clouds. Come welcome Winslow to our show, and his work will demonstrate that, as far as reality is concerned, painting demands an approach to reality where, in a noisy world, painting tries to say something unique about reality in its own quiet way, a way that is both intimate and infinite. So that is, again, Winslow Myers next Wednesday. Can paintings express reality? As always, information about upcoming shows may be found at www.simeonmoro.com. Once again, thank you so very much to Anna Maria Mendieta. Thank you very much to Victoria and Frederick Mulligan and Agnieszka and Benoit Rivolet for the support of this show. Most of all, thanks to you, our participants who make it all worthwhile. From New London, New Hampshire and San Francisco, California, goodbye and see you next Wednesday.